Jack, did you watch Scotland France live, or did you see the scoreline? And you could be up to family things on a day off after a test match, so I'm kind of conscious you might have been sitting down watching it live.
No, I definitely wasn't. I saw about 10 minutes of it, and then I was off to do more important things. But look, hell of a result for them. Obviously they're very good at the moment, and they've had great results in Murrayfield. So I'm sure they'll be full of confidence, and rightly so after a great performance like that. So we've obviously watched clips of it today and yesterday, and they played a great game to be fair. So.
Do you remember what your reaction was when you saw the final score?
Yeah, I think I watched 10 minutes up to the half time maybe, and you're thinking, whoa, France, you never kind of count them out, so they could easily come back into this. So obviously they got a bit of a head of steam then in the second half, and then France came back a little bit and put in a few scores late on, but I don't think anyone was expecting that scoreline really.
And just finally then for me, given there's a match in between your own and the later match on Saturday evening, obviously either for yourselves or Scotland, someone's going to be sitting down keeping a close eye on that. Are you prepared for hopefully a very, very long day at the Aviva on Saturday?
It's always a long day at the Aviva anyway, post-match function and everything else. But look, all of that's kind of out of our hands, isn't it? You know what I mean? So we'll control what we can control, and be focused on putting the best performance that we can come 2 o'clock or whatever it is on Saturday. And look, if everything else goes away, brilliant. But look, we need to worry about ourselves and what we need to do first and foremost.
Hey Jack, you missed the game at Twickenham, and then obviously that big performance against Italy. Did watching on nearly add more fuel to your own fire to perform, or against Wales, I should say? Was it difficult watching on and having to withdraw so late?
Yeah, look, it was obviously goating to miss probably one of the greatest days in Irish sport in history, and to be not a part of it. But I sat in a hotel room by myself and watched it, and I was unbelievably proud of the lads, because I thought that performance had been building for a few weeks, and obviously we hadn't been as good as we'd wanted to be leading up to it, and then you're going to Twickenham against a very good English side. So I was delighted for the lads, but I knew I had to go out and perform well myself over the weekend with just how well lads had gone. Bernie playing 6, obviously Caelan had a fantastic day. Josh, Nick and Keane as well were brilliant when they got on. So it's definitely a bit of fuel to the fire, just making sure that lads aren't passing you by, and you're making the most of your own opportunities. So that was kind of forefront of my mind going into the weekend, that I needed to have a good game, and I was happy with parts of how it went on the weekend.
Scotland this week, is it the best Scottish side you would have come up against?
Well, I think they're probably playing the best. They've obviously got some world class players in there who are peaking at the right time. So fair play to them. Obviously after the disappointing opening day, kind of not too estranged with ourselves, like after how we went against France, but their disappointing loss to Italy on the first day, they've bounced back really well, and they're playing some great rugby. So we need to be at our best and push on from the levels of performance even from Twickenham that we had the other week, because we obviously haven't hit our straps as much as we did that day. So that'll be the challenge for us, is to be better again than we were then.
Johnny and Derek.
Jack, you won the match against Wales, which was a priority. Did you enjoy it yourself?
Yeah, I enjoy every opportunity I get to run out in green, especially at home, with your family and friends there. And look, bits of the game were great. I thought defensively, I thought we looked really solid at times, and I thought our intent physically was really good. Some of the attack bits let us down, and we weren't on it, especially as I think a forward unit. How we were the 2 weeks previous against England, but I enjoyed it. When you're out there with your mates and you're running around and you're, living a dream. You always have to remember to enjoy it, because it's you never know how many more days you've left in green. So it's important to make the most of it.
Do you expect the same sort of physical challenge from Scotland, or a looser type of game, maybe more like a French game?
Look, they hold on to the ball really well, and their forwards are pretty direct. They're probably a little bit less connected than Wales are at the line as a forward unit. They're probably trying to play, run the line early, get on top, so then they can play the width, because they obviously got some good athletes out wide, and they play very expansive games. So that'll be the challenge for us, is to combat them in close and then build a bit of width back and get after them again.
Derek?
Can we go to a bit of Rugby 101, Jack? You deserve double pay in this group, particularly...
I couldn't agree with you more. Can you say that to Peter now, and I'll get that fed up to...
Modern rugby sees the 6 and the 8 as different positions, yet at the drop of a hat, you play 6. I'd be right in saying you've won more Player of the Match awards at 8. So you have a switch thing going on here. Or are the two getting more similar, or are they similar for you? Do you see them as similar?
They are similar in some regard, but they're probably, in how we play here, it is a little bit different. Obviously, in 6 you're tasked with a lot of the line-out work. You're in all the line-outs, whereas 8 you're obviously you won't be in for anything other than 6-man, 7-man line-outs. So it is a bit different with 8 as well. You're predominantly in the middle of the park, so you probably get a few more touches than you would at 6. But so it's important, if you're out in the wider channels, that you're not letting the game pass you by, which is definitely something I've done in the past when I'm playing at 6. Is you kind of feel like, oh God, I'm stuck out here, and if the ball comes to you, brilliant. You know, you get a bit of space and get a bit of a gallop. But if it doesn't, you're kind of, the game passes you by. So you have to make sure that you can influence the game in different ways, whether it's on the other side of the ball or taking the opportunity to work into the middle of the park so you can get those touches. Because, you know, as I said, it's great to get a bit of time and space in the ball and be able to run at people, but that doesn't always happen. So you got to pick your moments pretty well and make sure that you're mixing it up with being in the tight, and then also being that man in the wider channels when you're needed to be.
So we've had Josh in here, and famously we dealt with Shane Jennings, who needed everything in order, and he'd have his tape recorders ordered on the table. Do you need to be told early that you're 6 or 8, or do you just need to know you're in the team? Is it like on Monday morning at 9 o'clock when you come to work or whatever? Or is it okay, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, it's fine?
Well, like I know that on any given week, I'm only ever going to be, if I'm involved or not, I'm only ever going to be playing 2 positions. You know what I mean? I've never played 7, so, you know, come in, you know, you look at the detail for the week, and I would do notes on 6 and 8 and make sure I'm across it, whether I'm involved or not. I have to make sure that I know my detail. You know, if I'm not playing and someone drops out, then I'm in. You know, there's no excuse being, I didn't know, I didn't think I was playing. So that's the same for everyone, whether you're involved or not. You know, everyone has to know the detail, because things change. You know, you look at Keane getting drafted in against England when I drop out, and he had a great game when he got off the bench. And that it happens, you know what I mean? So the onus is on everyone to be across their detail, because it's not about just the 23 that's playing. It's about the entire squad making sure that they're at the races. For training and preparing the 23 to get to play, but also if there is an injury or a late dropout, that you can fit in there seamlessly and there's not this sense of panic. But to be fair to everyone involved, and it has been this way for years, that, you know, lads are always across their details, so that's never really a worry.
If there was a problem, could you play 7? No.
I mean, I don't think anyone would want that. I don't think the coaches would want that too much. Like, I'll leave that to the smaller fast lads, Josh and Nick and even Keane and Caelan. I'd rather be hanging out on the edges, you know, taking a break.
Keane.
Jack, you've generally had the upper hand on Scotland in the pack in particular. Like, what's been the secret to that from your experience over the last few years?
I suppose there's no real secret when it comes to international rugby. It's intent, physicality. Look, they're unbelievably well coached, well drilled team, and if we play against how we played against France in the opening kind of 40 minutes and don't have that level of intent, you know, they're a good pack, you know. So especially the back row, I think their back row is going really well at the moment. So we know we need to be physically right on the edge, winning collisions, and I think that's something that since the France game has been a noted improvement across the campaign. So that won't change from this week.
The line-out's been excellent in this campaign. As a pack, how pleased are you with that? Have you changed anything, or is it just building on what you've been doing in the past? No, just building on what we've been doing. Trusting the process. You know, Paulie's a fantastic line-out coach, and I know he probably got the brunt of abuse over the last few years from everyone else.
but he is an unbelievable coach, and the detail that he puts into the lineout. Look, this isn't, we're playing against good sides, and the lineout is not complicated, but it is difficult, and it is hotly contested area, and we know we need to be right on the money. So luckily, well, not luckily, because it's a lot of hard work that's been put into it, a lot of detail, a lot of very process driven work that goes into it to being able to perform and execute in the weekend. So we're glad that it's going the way it's going, but it's through hard work, it's through diligence, it's through the line-out callers taking the right options. It's about the drill and the hookers as well. So hopefully we can keep on going in that vein of form now come the weekend.
Rory?
Hi, Jack.
Rory, how are you?
No, very good. Just looking back to that game in 23 in Murrayfield, like everything that could have possibly gone wrong went wrong that day. The injuries, Keane and Tucker and Josh Van der Fleer throwing the ball in the lineouts, but he still found a way to win and won really well at the end. I imagine that game gets referenced a lot. It must give you a lot of confidence against Scotland because.
Actually, we haven't spoken about it. But yeah, look, that was something we do talk about, and it's probably akin to what Derek was speaking about there. When things aren't going your way, you got to find a way to win. You know what I mean? And you can use it as an excuse, being like, we're down to Josh Hunt in the line out, Dan and Ronan, whoever was playing that day, we take 2 injuries, Kane's at hooker, it's easy to be like, how are we going to win this game? You know what I mean? We're all over the place. But good teams and, people of strong character, you don't let those excuses come to the fore. It's like, it doesn't matter. You got to be adaptable in adversity and just get on with the job at hand, because at the end of the day there's still going to be 15 very good rugby players out there, so we make it work, and it's about being calm in that chaos. So look, that was a great day, and I know we've had good success against Scotland the last while, but that'll count for nothing if we don't go out and perform. No one's going to look back and think, but Jesus, we beat them the last however many times we played them. If we go out and we're not as good as we possibly can be on the weekend. So that's the challenge for us, is just to be better again, and history has no relevance really.
Jeff, you're one of the few players in the squad you have been beaten by Scotland. Do you have any memories from 2010? Was it only one last year?
2010? I'm not that old. I was still in school. What year was that? 2017. Yeah, I didn't play, but I was involved in the squad. Yeah, look, I have no memories from that. I have barely memories from last week, to be honest with you. I'm very forward focused and worried about the next day, whatever. But look, they're a good side. They're playing unbelievably good rugby at the moment. So yeah, look, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. Absolutely. They're probably coming here in good form after a great performance in the weekend, and it's a huge challenge.
Sorry for putting yours under there.
No, that's all right. Not that old. I might look at today like that.
Last 2 questions, Dara, then Kieran.
Hi, Jack. You've had to wait for consistent games in a starting jersey, I suppose, for Ireland. Has it been frustrating at times, kind of having to come off the bench and wait for that opportunity?
I suppose I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but you want to give as much as you can to the team, to the environments, and have as much impact as you can. But I think the dynamic of starting or being on the bench is not what it used to be. I think years ago I would have taken as I'm not that I'm not good enough to start, or I haven't played well enough to start, but now it's you're tasked with a different job, and not that it's more important, but it's as equally as important as the lads who are getting the run out. I know I'm well able to do both, and I'm probably hoisted by my own petard with being good off the bench and having an impact, but it's something I pride myself on as well, is being able to come on and bring energy and lift lads around me and give them a boost. And I'd like to think that whatever minutes I get, they see me run on, they think, oh brilliant, Jack's on now, he can have a real impact here and lift the lads around me. And it's an unbelievably important job, and whether I'm starting this week or on the bench, I'm going to take a lot of pride in the work and the opportunity that I have, and making sure that I'm adding to everyone around me and making people feel good. Because then that's huge, especially 50, 60 minutes when you're a little bit fatigued and the games are tough. Bringing energy, bringing voice, clarity is hugely important, and you can bring lads with you and you can make a huge impact.
Is that a third wage packet?
It could be. Derek, get on.
Maybe it's like grace, poise and beauty.
Yeah, well, that's it. Your words, not mine.
Last question, Kieran.
Jack, we spoke to you here after the France game. Your message was very much that you weren't concerned about the trajectory of the team, that defeat wasn't systemic. Over the course of this championship since, what have been the most sort of encouraging or pleasing things you've seen in terms of how the group responded to such a disappointing start to the championship?
I suppose people not losing confidence in what we're doing. I was right, wasn't I? Yeah, mystic Jack. No, but I think lads not losing confidence in what we're doing because we know we're doing the right thing. We know we have the right people, the right coaches, the right players, and so that's been encouraging. I think it's been great to see so many lads kind of get first caps or first starts in Six Nations, or to play in the Six Nations for the first time. And I think them stepping up to the mantle and grabbing hold of it. You look at Rob on the wing, Tommy, Eddie getting his first cap, Doki, all these things, Nick getting his first start in the Six Nations. It's huge, and it's great for those lads to be going so well and pushing on and taking their opportunities. So I think that the squad's in a great place no matter who plays. And it's just about building on it and staying in the moment. And it's test match rugby. It's not always going to all go your own way. It never does. So you got to take the good with the bad and leave it all behind you and just focus on the next moment, doing the next right thing and not going in yourself.
Can I ask you just very quickly, Finn Russell, Lions tour last year, is there anything you sort of see or appreciate from him playing with him, training with him that you maybe?
Yeah, look, fantastic player, and someone, if you give time and space to, he can pick any lock and he can pull a rabbit out of a hat and do unbelievable things. And when his team's on the front foot, he looks fantastic, doesn't he? And he, great fella, unbelievable rugby player, like all the ability in the world. So, and he's playing really well. And he kind of, as I said, he takes that good and the bad in the stride, and he keeps on going. So, I'm looking forward to face him on the weekend, hopefully.